some evidence that one is in a narcissistic situation is that nothing will ever change, in the sense that the other person that the empath was initially drawn to and seeking to help actualize, you'll get further away from that reality than closer to it. And in fact, the empath's life will begin and continue to deteriorate in a consistent way from that point on. In a sense, from when the system is set up, the empath is going to start to give out more than they naturally should, and the empath essentially begins to deteriorate. The narcissist, in a sense, never changes and is, in a sense, unaffected by this. They just want the attention and someone to feed off. And they're incapable of actually recognizing how much pain they're putting the empath through. They're incapable of it, and in a sense it seems as though they're not interested. And that's kind of just reiterating that the narcissist just being themselves, in a sense they're not being sinister, they're just being themselves, versus are they actually enjoying wounding the empath? Some would say that they got a sense that the other was enjoying abusing them. The problem is that the abuse is so cleverly done, and that's why the word diabolical comes into play here, because the abuse is so mind-bendingly complicated and almost impossible to put one's finger on fully. And the narcissist is so incapable and uninterested in addressing anything that the environment emotionally for the empath gets in, like they feel crazy. They become very distressed because their emotions are being dealt some very heavy blows, and it never gets resolved. And there can even be a sense of why it's happening, but an inability to address it, and sometimes it's even hard to address it because it's so confrontational for the empath to really address some of the things that are done to them. Because for the empath to behave in a similar way would be, for the most part, so it's just so out of their realm of reality that to address somebody being so destructive in some respects is so confronting that there could be an avoidance to that. In some ways, in some instances or certain events and so on. Others, there can be a tremendous amount of effort that will go into addressing the offences and the woundings and the manipulations and so on that occur, with less than zero outcome. And so this is where that diabolical word comes into play.